Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Danny Tech back with another CCNA lab video. Back again to try to help you pass this test on the first try. Today's video, we're going to be covering router on the stick. So basically, our last video, we configured VLANs on this same network here, where there are 3 physical connections to this router. So basically what router on the stick allows you to do is to, instead of using 3 physical connections, it allows you to use 1 physical connection to allow multiple VLANs to traverse that one link. So basically routers don't usually come with a lot of inputs or a lot of interfaces like a switch is. So to maximize our router, this protocol is put in place. You're probably not going to see this in all networks out on the field, but definitely on the exam you'll see this configuration, or you'll see questions about this configuration. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into configuring a router on a stick in this network. So basically I'm going to be using the same network as we did for the VLAN lab, but what is going to change is that instead of the 3 physical interfaces, we're going to be using 1 physical interface, and on that physical interface we're going to be basically creating sub interfaces to allow this configuration. So here you'll see that we have interface 001, 000, 001, and 002. Here we're going to have 000.10, 000.50, 000.30, and that'll be for its respective VLANs basically. And those sub interfaces are going to serve as the default gateway for each of these VLANs or networks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and remove these physical interfaces. We'll go ahead and remove these 3 and connect 1, 000, and start with the configuration. So we'll go ahead and do enable to get us into privileged exec mode, and then we'll do a config T or configure terminal. I'm sorry. Hit enter, and then we want to go ahead and jump into those sub interfaces. So to be able to do that, the command is going to be interface G 0/0/0, and then dot, and then the interface that you would like to create. In this case, it's going to be .10 for VLAN 10. In the real world, it's going to be whatever is configured by the engineer. It doesn't have to correlate with the VLAN. In this case, this is a lab, and for it to be a little bit more simple for you to understand, we'll just correlate the sub interface to the VLAN. So we'll go ahead and hit enter, and then we want to go ahead and tell that sub interface that we're going to be using the .1q protocol, which allows for trunking on this link. So to be able to do that, the command is going to be encapsulation .1q. So it's DOT, the letter 1, and then Q. And then we want to tell it the VLAN that we want to allow on that, which is going to be 10. So now that interface knows that VLAN 10 traffic is going to go to this specific sub interface. And then we want to go ahead and add a IP address as the default gateway for VLAN 10. So that IP address is going to be 192.168.10.1 with a /24 subnet mask, which is going to be 255.255.0. We'll go ahead and hit enter, and we'll do a no shut to bring that that interface up. And that's pretty much it for that configuration for that VLAN. And we're just gonna have to do the same for the other VLANs that are left, which is VLAN 50 and VLAN 30. So we'll go ahead and jump into those sub interfaces. So when you're working with interfaces, you don't have to jump out of that sub interface to jump back into another one. You can just go ahead and daisy chain and jump into each interface. Just have to be careful when you're doing this in the real environment that you don't configure a sub interface that you don't mean to to configure and bring down that network. So we'll go ahead and jump into sub interface G000.50 for VLAN 50. We'll do the same thing, encapsulation .1Q, and then 50 for if I can spell it correctly, encap. Okay, boom, and then we'll go ahead and set an IP address on that. That command is going to be IP address, and then the IP address that you're going to set 192.168.50.1, which is going to be again the default gateway for VLAN 50, and then that's going to be a /24 as well, 255.255.255.0, and do a no shut to bring that sub interface up. And then we're going to go ahead and jump into the sub interface for VLAN 30. .30 encapsulation .1Q 30, and the IP address for that 192.168.30.1, and then subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and no shut that interface to bring that sub interface up. One of the cool things that I like about Packet Tracer is that it shows you that the link is still down, or that a link is still down. The reason it's still down is because we didn't no shut the actual physical interface. All we did was bring up the sub interfaces. Let's go ahead and make sure that we set the correct IP addresses. You always want to confirm that you set the correct IP addresses on the correct interface. So to do that, we're gonna do a do show interface IP interface brief, and then this shows us that okay, we set sub interface .10 to 192.168.10.1. That's good. And then these are still showing administratively down because the the main interface is still down. So once we bring that interface up, it should show the interface back up. So we'll go ahead and jump into that interface and bring it up with a no shut, and they're showing it coming up at the moment. And it's showing the logs, basically bringing up the sub interfaces, as you can see here. All right, perfect. So now we'll go ahead and, so basically all of these PCs already have an IP address within its respective VLAN. As you can see here, this one is a .10, this one's going to be a .20, and so on and so forth. But now we have to set up this link as a trunk link, and then all of these links as access links to those VLANs. So to be able to do that, we're going to jump into each physical link and set them up as access links and trunk links. So to be able to do that, we'll go ahead and hit enable on the switch. Then we're gonna do a configuration terminal, conf t, and so it'll be a little bit tedious if we do this one by one. What Cisco allows you to do is group the interfaces into a specific command to be able to configure all of them with the same configuration, which saves a lot of time. To be able to do that, what we have to do is go into interface, range, and then you put in the range of the interfaces that you would like to configure. But before we do that, let's go ahead and create the VLANs. To be able to create the VLANs, the only configuration you need to do is type in VLAN and then the number of the VLAN that you would like to create. So we have VLAN 10, VLAN 50, and VLAN 30. And what I want to do is give each one of those VLANs a name. So we'll go ahead and go into VLAN 10 and then name that HR. VLAN 50, name that accounting. And VLAN 30, name that, I think, yeah, IT. Boom. And then we'll go ahead and verify that I named the correct ones by doing a do show. And you have to use the command do whenever you're within configuration mode. It allows you to perform a command without having to back out into privilege exec mode, and you can do it within whatever mode you're currently in. So we'll go ahead and do a show VLAN brief. Do show. Or maybe I can't do it. Do show VLAN. Do show VLAN brief. Okay. All right. So we do a do show VLAN brief, and we see here that the VLAN is here in this row, and then the ports that are assigned to that VLAN, which we haven't assigned any of the ports yet, on this row. So we have VLAN 10 and the name, it's HR. Same thing here, VLAN 30, IT, VLAN 50, accounting. So now we can go ahead and assign each of these ports to the respective VLANs that we want to assign it to. And to be able to do that, again, we're going to go ahead and do interface, range, and then the ports that we want to configure. In this case, for VLAN 10, it's going to be port 01 dash 02. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to back out and do it. So we'll do interface range 02. It's gonna make me put an F in front of it. All right, so now we got the range that we want to configure, and then there we'll go ahead and do the commands to allow the specific VLANs. So the first command is going to be switch port mode access. So this tells that port, okay, I want you to act as an access port for a specific VLAN. So we'll have then we'll tell it what VLAN we want that port to allow. So we're going to use the command switch port access 10. I'm sorry, VLAN 10. Hit enter, and now these ports are only going to allow VLAN 10 traffic to traverse that. And then we'll go ahead and set the other ports the same way for its respective VLANs. So we're going to jump into PC 3 through 5. So we'll go ahead and go into interface, range, F03 to 05. And do the same commands, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 50, and then jump into the others. The last two computers, which is the IT VLAN 30, those computers are going to be on port 6 and 7. Same command, switch port mode access, and switch port mode, switch port access VLAN 30 in this case. All right, perfect. So now we have one link left, and that link is going to be our trunk link. So that link is going to be a little bit different. The commands is similar, but it is different. So we'll go ahead and jump into that interface, which is going to be gigs 0/1. And then remember, our trunk ports, or the reason that we're doing this configuration, is to allow multiple VLANs on this one physical link. So for us to be able to do that, we have to convert this link into a trunk link, and not an access link like the others, because this one is going to allow multiple VLANs. So to be able to do that, what we're going to do is the command to be able to do that is going to be switch port mode trunk. Because the trunk is what allows multiple VLANs to traverse. So now the command for us to be able to allow multiple VLANs is going to be switch port trunk allow and it's going to be all the VLANs that we've configured, 10, 30, and 50. And boom. Now multiple VLANs are able to traverse that link. For us to be able to verify, let's first verify the VLANs and the ports that are assigned to that. So we'll go ahead and do a do show VLAN brief, and see VLAN 10. The ports on VLAN 10 are going to be Fast Ethernet 0/1 and 0/2, VLAN 30/0/6 and 7, and VLAN 50 port 3, 4, and 5. But as we can see here, we don't see the last port that we configured, because these are the access ports basically. So for us to see the trunk port, we're going to have to do show interface trunk, and then we see our gig 0/1 that allows VLAN 10, 30, and 50. Boom, perfect. And we're participating in 802.1q, which is the trunking protocol. So now we should be able to ping our default gateway and for it to give us a response back. So we'll go, and also the other devices that are on the network, we should be able to get a response back. So let's go ahead and try that out. Go ahead and ping VLAN 10's default gateway, which is going to be 192.168.10.1, which is the sub interface that I created on the router. And there we go, we're getting a reply. Perfect. Now I want to go ahead and try to ping the PC7. So that IP address is going to be 192.168.30.20. And that first, we're going to lose that first packet due to the ARP process, the address resolution protocol process. And but it did respond with the pings from the router to that PC. I'm sorry. So basically, that is the router on the stick configuration. Pretty straightforward once you understand the concepts of VLANs and how it segments the network and also the commands. What I can suggest is just practice and practice some more, and then practice some more, and then once you think you got it, you practice some more, because you only retain what you do constantly. So if you continue to practice, you will get this like the back of your hand. You won't have to you'll look at the network and you'll see what configuration you did incorrectly or what you missed, and just continue to practice. If you need more labs like this, or you like this lab, go ahead and hit a thumbs up. I can send you the lab, or I can help you through whatever configuration issues you need. Just comment below if you feel like I missed anything, or any concept that you are not familiar with. Write it in the comments below, and I'll make a video on it, or I'll send you an email, or we can communicate that way. But again, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I'll deeply appreciate that. And also go ahead and follow my TikTok as well, which is Danny Tech. And that way we can communicate through there as well, if you would like to see any other videos. The next video I have coming up is going to be probably a small Soho network. So it's going to be a small home office network. If you're watching this on the internet in your home, you're basically in a Soho network. So we'll go ahead and do that, so that way you can get more practice on configuring networks, because again, that's what helped me pass this test, is daily packet tracing. network configuration and going through concepts constantly. So again, thank you for watching. Have a good day.